Australians are inspired to understand their democracy.
You listen to D.I.Wireless, an Aussie punk rock podcast. Check it out, mate.
Working 28 years for the company. Will I ever be secure financially? I don't know, gonna have to wait and see.
G'day everyone and welcome to the next instalment of D.I.Wireless Podcast. Now, out of all the North American sports that are thrown in our faces since we've been here in Vancouver, I guess there's one that sits best with me is probably baseball. And when I found out and saw a band from our new hometown in Vancouver that not only was a great punk band, but also managed to write songs purely about the sport of baseball, I was very intrigued. Turns out, as I said, they're a great band as well. A band called the Isotopes. And we're speaking to Evan and Dan from the band. Evan, how are you?
I'm doing well, thanks.
Dan, how are you?
Also well.
There's farts flying everywhere. It's excellent. Luckily, this is not smell-o-vision. Alright, guys, first things first. I was under the wrong assumption when I first saw you guys as well, and you've probably had to confirm this a million times in interviews, but tell us why the Isotopes is not the baseball team from The Simpsons.
It's a band. We took the name. I thought it was a cool name for a band, and there was definitely a Simpsons reference there, but I also just thought it was a great name for a baseball band. So The Simpsons was a part of it, but there is also another connection. Albuquerque, who did take it from The Simpsons as well.
So you took it from Albuquerque or you took it from The Simpsons?
I took it from both. There is a thing going on when I named the band, which was like probably 2004, where a lot of bands in this genre had Simpsons names, and
put him on the spot right now.
Like Fall Out Boy, Mr. Plow.
Sure. Very good.
123 Fake Street.
Very good. Yeah, I've seen them.
Team No Pants.
Okay. Dan, we should ask you. You're actually from Melbourne.
Yes, I am.
How did you find your way over here?
On a plane.
Excellent. Were you a baseball fan before?
I was a baseball fan, yes. I played through my teen years.
In Australia?
Yep. And I joined the Isotopes maybe 2.5 years ago.
And what about, has Dan schooled you on cricket at all?
Dan wouldn't dare.
You haven't even tried?
I'm not a cricket fan. So.
No way, I am.
Yeah.
I was drawing comparisons between cricket and baseball, and like maybe that's why I like baseball.
You did a pretty good job with cricket to try to make a game that was, partially like baseball. And they're like, well, baseball is pretty great, so let's try to do like a sort of like a softer version of it for, the softer types abroad.
Are you calling Australians soft? Evan, you were saying earlier that you guys have been around since 2006, but it's really been the last couple of years that you've really found yourself playing a few more shows and putting out a few more releases than you would have in the past, and you were pretty happy with it that way, to take it easy to start out with, but be busy in the last 2 years.
Yeah, we've been busy. I think the case was that we never had the group of guys to do it until this lineup that we have now came together, and once it came together, it just seemed natural to continue on playing and being in the band. Me and Dan talked about it a lot, and it was just a matter of if we were going to do it, we were going to do it the way we wanted to and become better. And I think that's the way it is. We watched a lot of tape, and we picked out our own flaws, and we said, let's try to improve and come back out and be better than we were last year.
Cool. We'll definitely get to chatting some more about the history of the band, but we always invite our guests to play some music on the show. So you guys have chosen some Head to start out with. A true baseball team there. We're enjoying beers at the same time.
I thought we'd play some Head, and Head is a really fantastic band from Seattle, really underknown. They never did anything. Like, they put out records on their own label and never really played anywhere but Seattle and Portland. They played in Subfest a couple years ago, but that was kind of like the biggest thing they did. But they're really great, and they were cited by Ben Weasel as being an influence for the Riverdales.
It's a big call.
It is a big call, and if you listen to them, they're not totally similar, but they're not totally different either. And you can see where he's coming from with that. And Head is a really they're funny. That's the thing about them. They're just a really like dry, funny band.
Well, this is Head on D.I. Wireless. We're going to play the song Hate Van right now from Head. We'll be back with the guys from the Isotopes soon. Chat more about baseball, chat more about the band. So first, this is Head. Check it out. That was Head with Hate Van on DI Wireless, and we're chatting to the guys from Vancouver's own Isotopes, also known as the greatest punk rock baseball club in the world.
That's what ESPN said. I don't really know anything about it.
You covered this, but let's cover it for the guys listening back home and anywhere that people are listening. How did you actually start out writing songs purely about baseball?
Yeah, I basically wanted to. I was in some other bands, and I wanted to start writing new songs, and I thought, what can I do? I don't want to write love songs. Everyone else is doing that, and I'm never going to be that good at writing love songs. You know, like bands that I loved are going to be able to do it better than me, and I want to be as good as, I want to feel like I was the best at doing something. So I was like, what am I going to be the best at? I'm going to be the best at writing baseball songs. And
you played baseball your whole life.
Yeah, I'm a lifelong baseball guy, and
it would be pretty easy to, start out and going, I can't think of enough ideas of baseball to think of to write songs, but you've stuck with it. It's been 5-6 years now.
Yeah, well, people always say that and ask me that, is there, can you write songs about baseball forever? And I can write songs about baseball forever. I can't, the thing that I have trouble with is writing the music, but the baseball thing, I got song titles like stored away. So, basically, yeah, I just start with a title or something that I want to talk about and write a song, try to make it funny, try to make it, take an interesting perspective on it. We're not writing songs like I want to steal home on April O'Neil or something like that. Like it's not like metaphors. It's like baseball songs, So
how much does it piss you off then when people say that your band's a gimmick band?
I don't mind. They'll buy the T-shirt.
Don't mind.
Where's their band?
Yeah, we can elaborate on that. What band isn't really a gimmick band? I mean, there's grades of it, but like everyone's doing something, and most people aren't even doing it that well. So, to do something and do it try to do it well, it's only a gimmick if you approach it that way. And for us, we're just kind of doing what comes naturally. And I don't think that can really be a gimmick. It's just, we have fun doing it and we do what's natural. And yeah, I mean, I don't care if people say it's a gimmick band because it is, but
themed than gimmick.
Yeah.
The whole idea of a mix of being between punk and sport, to me, it's becoming more common. Do you agree? Traditionally, whether it's back home in Australia or whether it's the whole North American thing, the whole idea of sport was associated with the jock guys, the guys who were listening to mainstream music. Whereas, you guys are a punk band, but you're completely dedicated to the sport that you love. Do you think it's a more common thing nowadays that lines are getting blurred everywhere, that it's pretty normal to associate the two?
I think that since the 90s, guys who are our age, you're 10 years old when Dookie came out. Now you are 30 and you have a sweet job and your background is in mainstream punk rock. So I think there's a lot of people who grew up listening to punk in the 90s who are now in media jobs. Like you would have never seen loud music at sporting events before these people, got the jobs. But now,
absolutely. But then you look at, was it last year or the year before's Stanley Cup playoff when they had the Briggs playing at the Kings games, when it was Kings Canucks in LA.
You've had the Dropkick Murphys cover that that famous Boston song, and they've also played at Bruins games. Like I said, the crossover's happening a lot, these days, and it's more acceptable, it seems, now than it was before. It's like you can't be into punk rock and be into sports as well.
Well, you look at bands like the Hextalls and Hanson Brothers, and they're deeply rooted in singing songs about sports.
Yeah, I definitely think it's just kind of a product of everyone who was into punk growing up a little bit and like kind of accepting that,
there's no rules that you have to follow.
Yeah, like I don't know what your problem is if you don't like sports. I'm gonna say that. So
the ones that suck.
yeah,
What's the one curling? You guys into curling?
No.
I have not curled.
Really?
Yeah.
That's one thing I was like couldn't understand when I came to Canada, was curling.
Yeah, it's not really a sport. It's like a leisure time.
Yeah, you'd get drunk and want to play that, but you wouldn't want to compete.
Kind of like lawn bowls.
True.
We talked a little bit about baseball so far, but musical influences. They're listening to you guys. Some of them are obvious, but we're going to play some pretty interesting music here now. Like anything in particular that sort of leads the band, or no? It's a pretty wide gamut of stuff.
I don't think that it's a wide gamut of things that influence our songwriting. I think there's a definite you can say Ramones. I really like the band Head we just played there.
You're a big Queers fan too, right?
I'm a Queers fan. I don't think that we sound like the Queers though.
No. Absolutely not.
The most we rarely get Ramones reference. Like I've rarely read anything that said we sound like the Ramones. I know that there's like a songwriting approach that's similar, but I get a lot of like Buzzcocks and Adolescence references over and over.
Adolescence makes a little bit of sense.
Yeah. So I mean, I don't know.
I think it's just the hooky riffs and things like that the Ramones were a lot more straight ahead, whereas the Buzzcocks were writing more hooks.
Yeah, I mean, like my favorite stuff to listen to is like pop, girly pop, and like I don't really have that much musical ability as far as instruments are. So like I pick up a guitar and it's loud, and you could probably make really sweet girly pop recordings of our songs without changing anything other than the instrumentation too. So I think it's all about how you're playing it, not so much about how you write it.
Very true. Guys, let's play some more music. We're going to play some a local band from Vancouver. We're going to play the Spectres right now, and tell us a little bit about this band.
They are one of my favorite bands around town. They're very post-punk, play a lot of D-Beat and Crush shows, but their new record's going to be fantastic. It's kind of a pop record, but lovely guys. Like them or don't, I don't care. But the song is called Time Is Out.
That was Spectres on D.I. Wireless, and we're chatting still with Evan and Dan from the Isotopes. We touched on it a little bit, Evan, that you've been busy the last couple of years. You guys have had a lot of supports of international acts coming through, mainly because the band's have grown in the last couple of years. But are you wary of that getting into that cycle of playing a lot in your hometown and sort of being a bit played out?
Absolutely. It's something we've tried to stay away from. We've been fortunate enough to get offered, opening spots for all the bands that we loved who've come through town. I've also put on a few of those shows, so that's helped land those spots for us. Going into the new season, we want to pretty much limit our show playing locally to, as often as we'd play any other city. So maybe once or twice a year. And
Vancouver seems kind of like a weird place where I've talked to other bands here, and some of them have said the first piece of advice that they'd give is get your papers and make sure that you can go and tour in the States. Make sure that you can get out of town and play other places. Would you agree with that?
I do, because the closest Canadian city to play, except for Victoria, is like Calgary and Edmonton. You're going to go on tour for a weekend to Calgary and Edmonton, and you're going to drive farther than it takes to drive down to San Francisco. So you might as well be able to go through the border and play like 5 sweet shows down to San Francisco and back, rather than go to Alberta and like get called a faggot for wearing tight pants. And it costs more money to go up there anyway. So yeah, get your passport, get your fucking green card, and get through the border.
But you guys went to the States earlier this year. Was that the first time that the Isotopes have crossed the border and played in the States?
Yep. That was the first time. We'd been booked a few other times that didn't happen. But we went through and we did it.
How'd it go? How'd you guys go over? How was it, Dan? Did you tour? You did the tour? No? Dan didn't do the tour?
Dan's sorting out his visa.
He was benched. Dan was benched.
Whoa.
He was on assignment. Yeah. He was on local assignment.
But how'd it go, Evan? How were those shows? It was a short run, but you went to the East Coast, I think, and you played Insubordination Fest in Baltimore. And you played a show in Ottawa before you crossed the border.
Yeah, we did Ottawa Explosion Festival, which was like so fun. It's a great festival that those guys are doing out there, and we met a lot of cool bands and saw a lot of cool bands, and that was a great way to kick off a tour. Couldn't have asked for a better thing. And then we went through and played Albany, and I'm going to tell you, Albany is a shithole.
This is Albany, New York, in the States?
Albany, New York is... We drove that night, and we had to get out of there. It was just a bad place. And the rest of the tour was great, and that's what's kind of motivated us to put it together for the fall and go back.
And yeah, you were mentioning you guys have been booked to play the Fest, which is close to our hearts here in D.I. Wireless. We did a road trip and a video series on our way to Fest. You guys are going to be there this year, which is great. But just as great news for the band, you're piecing together quite a decent US tour.
Yeah, we're going to do 30 dates, which is crazy because that's going to be more shows in a month than we've ever played. And try to hit as many cities with a ball team as possible. We're going to miss a few, obviously.
Dan, you're looking forward to getting out there?
Here's hoping.
Oh, right. Okay, so the visa's still... okay. I'm sure Dan will get out there as well. And what are some of the challenges, man, putting together... I know you book it all yourself, so what are some of the challenges in putting together?
Playing a show every night is always the biggest challenge because, the worst thing to have on tour is a day off. And, it's not always possible to book a show on a Monday or Tuesday night or a Sunday night in the middle of nowhere. So, like, you book the main ones first, and then you try to fill in the gaps with house shows and record stores or wherever. But the challenge is just staying busy, I think, on tour, and we've been able to put together a pretty good one so far. So,
and when you'll be able to announce that soon?
It'll be announced. It'll be finalized by mid-September at some point, but we're leaving in October, and we'll be back the end of November. And
it's a big run.
Yeah, down to Florida, down to Gainesville, and back. So we're gonna try to hit every city between and play with all the bands that we know out there, and that's gonna be the fun part because we'll get to meet a lot of people that we've only listened to, and that's always a treat because not every band gets to go out and tour, so it's a fun thing to get to do.
It's great. I think definitely check out the Isotopes if you manage to catch them on the road, guys. Let's play some more tunes. Houseboat is a band that you guys have introduced me to. It's a bit of an all-star cast, Dan. Like, who's in the band? You can let us know.
The singer from the Steinways, Zach, who used to be in Off With Their Heads and is now in Dear Landlord. Mikey Erg is on drums. So
All-star cast.
notable people for sure.
And what song we're going to play? We're going to play I Watched... Now, this is a good one for the people back home. The song's called I Watched the Biggest Loser Australia.
Apparently,
Yeah, there's
the singer from the Steinways, it's in the
Grath Madden from the Steinways.
He spent a lot of hours watching all the different Biggest Losers, but he started out with the Australian one, and that's what started his thing with the Biggest Loser, and it also kicked off a whole reality TV thing for him. But I guess he had to pay homage to what started the whole thing, so
My God, I can't imagine sitting through that much crap TV.
just watching fat people do fat things.
Cry and exercise. This is, homage to those fat people. This is, I Watched the Biggest Loser Australia.
Get on the treadmill.
We'll be back to wrap things up with the Isotopes very, very shortly.
I took the last seat on the front car by the front door. Bought a banana and a bagel at the corner store. Spend all day sitting back, my feet up off the floor. I don't know how to be alone anymore. Look through the pictures, all the pictures show something that I can't put my finger on. I don't know, and I guess I've always known that I can't keep taking pictures, but I don't wanna be alone. I'm getting pictures, got a badge on a string. She's either raging or not doing anything. I download TV shows, it helps to dull the pain. Let's take a picture of me going down the train. I picked out 2 seats in the last car on the way home. Still scared of you, but even more so, sitting here alone. Still scared of sitting here alone. Sitting here alone. Alone.
That was Houseboat. This is the bottom of the 9th, I guess, with the Isotopes. One question I was going to ask you: your favourite baseball team, whoever they are, playing in the 7th game of the World Series, or on the same night that you get to support your favourite band of all time. Which one do you do?
I mean, it's not even a question. You go to the ball game.
You go to the ball game.
Absolutely.
I'm also gonna say that I think we've pretty much opened for every one of our favorite bands.
Aside from Screeching Weasel. But we were vetoed from that, so...
You were vetoed from Screeching Weasel?
We were billed to open for Screeching Weasel, so it's close enough.
Did Ben punch someone?
No, he just doesn't like...
There is some punk politics involved, and we were dismissed as a part of that. Not personally. Just it went that way. So there's no hard feelings. And yeah, you go to the ball game because these bands are going to tour again. And in Game 7, I mean, man, I don't know who wouldn't go to that ball game. Yeah, I don't even like music. I'm gonna open for my band or for my favorite band, and I'm gonna go sit in the green room.
You can just have ring-ins.
We go to the game.
And
then the Ramones open for us.
Yeah.
We get from the game to the venue after the Ramones have played, or Head, or whoever we want to decide on mutually. And we get there just in time to take the stage.
Also, you had a great idea, which is it links into something that we've been talking about, which is franchising the Isotopes to have Isotopes in other cities, so we can tour at different times in different regions. Because really, it's like, why do any of us personally have to be up there? It could be anybody. So the other guys can play the show and get the money and send it to me, and then we'll be at the ball game.
If people want to apply for this,
Tryouts. If you want to be in the Isotopes in your city, let's do that. Like Australia, if you guys want to have an Isotopes, we're on a label. we got some people who we got fans. We got merchandise. We'll send it to you. I'll send you the tabs if you don't know how to hear
the instructional video on how to be an isotope.
Yeah.
This could be something huge, franchising out your punk band. It's definitely going to happen. Guys, thank you very, very much for standing in your kitchen with D.I. Wireless. We're going to go out on one of your songs. Blood Diamond is a 7-inch that you can get online if you like.
Bandcamp, the Isotopes.
Definitely. There's, their other EPs are on there as well. We got Heatseeker and Cuban Missile. Guys, what are we going to play from Blood Diamond to go out? One song that you guys enjoy at the moment.
It's called Operation Vamos.
This is Operation Vamos from the Isotopes. They're going to be at Fest. They're going to be on the road in the States. Anyone listening back home in Australia, check this out. Fantastic band. Really good dudes. We really enjoy you guys having you guys on here. Thanks, Evan.
Thanks a lot for having us on the show.
Thanks, Dan.
Thank you.
See you back in Melbourne one day.
Maybe.
Thanks very much, guys. Check it out.